welcome to my channel. I hope this lighting isn't too terrible. It's about to storm outside. And I'm trying to get this done while Rosalie is napping. So, if you don't know me, my name is Lenny. I have a 15-month-old little girl who my husband and I conceived through IVF. And we are currently trying to grow our family. So we will be doing another round of IVF here in the near future, very near future. So my husband and I struggled with infertility for about 5 years before we embarked on the IVF journey. And round 1 of IVF, we were lucky enough to conceive our little girl now, Rosalie, who is now 15 months old. And we are also lucky enough to have 10 frozen embryos. So we will be doing a frozen embryo transfer, transferring 1 embryo. And I wanted to share with you guys what I'm doing to prep my body for the frozen embryo transfer. I will say the things that I did for my previous IVF cycle was a little different, just because we did the egg retrieval and everything, and this time we don't have to go through that because we are lucky enough to have frozen embryos. So I'm definitely not as strict as I was when I did the whole IVF cycle. If I can remember some of the things I did for that, I will definitely share them with you. But yeah, let's get started. So there's basically just 4 things that I've been doing to prep my body. So the first thing that I have been doing is making sure that I'm taking my vitamins. So I've been taking a prenatal, which you definitely want to take, and this one already has the DHA in it. I like the Nature Made brand. I don't think it matters what brand you take. You want to make sure though that you're doing the prenatal, and if it doesn't have the DHA, you want to make sure you're taking DHA as well. Another thing that I take is vitamin D3. This is very important for fresh and frozen transfers. It's actually just important in general to take along with vitamin. I take this every other day just because that's what it says on the back of the packaging. And again, I don't think there's anything special about the brand I take. This is just what I picked up the last time I got it. And then the last thing I take is iron, and I take this every day. I am iron deficient and have anemia, so that's why I take the iron. I started taking it during my last pregnancy, so I know I did not take this when I did my IVF cycle the first time around. We actually found out that I had an iron deficiency when we did genetic testing. So anyways, you might want to check with your doctor before you take iron. If you're not iron deficient, you may not need to take it, but I need to take it. So those are the 3 things that I'm taking. I will say, when I did the fresh transfer, so the egg retrieval and everything, I know that I took CoQ10. I can't remember how long I took it for, but it helps to improve egg quality. So if you're going to do an egg retrieval, I highly recommend taking CoQ10, and you can do your own research on it as well. And then I also took baby aspirin. So the baby aspirin helps to thin out your blood a little bit to prevent clotting. So the only thing with that, again, this is something I would check with your doctor before taking the baby aspirin, because when you go in for the egg retrieval, you know, they are poking, getting all your egg follicles and everything out of you. So, you know, you might bleed a little bit more if you're on the baby aspirin, because it does thin your blood, but it helps with your uterine lining so that it doesn't get any clots in it, and that helps with implantation then. It's harder for the embryo to implant if you have clots in your lining wall. So I currently am not taking baby aspirin, but I will start taking it the month that we are going to do our transfer. Other than that, I know last time too I took Airborne. We don't have Airborne. I might pick some up. Airborne is just like high in vitamin C mainly. It just helps so that you don't get sick or anything, because you definitely don't want to get sick before you go through IVF. So number 2 is eating a well-balanced diet. So, I mean, this goes along with just being healthy in general, but, you know, eating as many leafy greens and as many fruits and veggies, and you want to make sure that you're incorporating protein in every meal that you're eating. There are some foods that, you know, are considered like fertility superfoods. I believe avocados, blueberries, bananas, asparagus, I want to say are all on the like fertility superfood list. And I'm sure if you like look up fertility superfoods, it'll give you some that are like higher in some of the things that you need when trying to conceive. So I try to eat as many of those, as well as, you know, fruits and veggies, leafy greens, and then again, like I said, you want to make sure you're incorporating protein at every meal. And then I know that when I did my fresh transfer and my egg retrieval, there were foods that I was told to steer clear of, or that I read to steer clear of. I want to say sour foods, so, you know, sour stuff in general, but also yogurt, dairy, soy. Let me see, I have some stuff written down. Canola oil, fructose corn syrup, processed foods, which I try to avoid that anyways, just because it's not healthy for you. But the thing I just tried to keep in mind was, when you're eating like processed foods or foods that have a lot of sugar or things that are just harder for your body to like break down, it's taking away from your body working towards making as many eggs as you want and getting you pregnant. So everything that I do, I try to keep in mind like that thought, like I want my body working towards making a baby, not working towards breaking down terrible foods that I'm putting into my system. So I just try to eat as healthy as I possibly can, and you can probably also look up like foods to avoid while going through the IVF process. There was quite a few, like I know the dairy, and you obviously want to make sure you're not eating processed foods, and the yogurt, sour foods you're supposed to stay away from. I remember the last time as well, I tried to eat as many warm foods as possible, because again, when you put cold food into your body, it's harder for your body to digest the food. When you eat warm food, it's easier for your body to digest it because it's already warm in the temperature of your body. So I tried to eat, like I stayed away from ice cream, which contains dairy anyways, and I ate a lot of soups, and I just tried to eat as much warm food as I possibly could to make sure that my body was working towards making a baby and not working towards breaking down foods. So the third thing I'm trying to do is drink a ton of water. So drinking water obviously is important anyways, but especially when you're trying to conceive, and not only conceive, but going through the IVF process, you want to make sure that you're drinking as much water as humanly possible. I remember the last time, I think one of my coworkers literally said to me, okay, you're going to drown yourself, you're drinking so much water. So drinking water for me is like kind of a struggle. I have to like remind myself constantly throughout the day to drink my water. And I will say, just this past week, I completely cut out caffeine and stopped drinking coffee, which I typically only have 1 cup a day anyways. But man, those headaches that you get when you like stop drinking caffeine are serious. So I'm currently a week into no more coffee. So currently the only thing that I drink is water. I don't drink alcohol, I don't drink caffeine, I only drink water. I really don't even drink juice. I'm not like a huge juice drinker anyways, so yeah, water it is. And then the fourth and last thing that I have been doing is exercising. So again, these are just like healthy lifestyle choices to make anyways, but exercise is so important when you are trying to conceive or going through the IVF process because it helps circulate your blood flow, and you want to make sure, so that's another thing that I am constantly trying to keep in mind, is that you want to make sure that you have a good blood flow throughout your body to make sure that your uterus. Okay. Alright, so the fourth and last thing that I am doing is working out or exercising. So these are all just like healthy lifestyle choices anyways, but when you're going through the IVF process or trying to conceive, well, first of all, it's a good idea to be in a somewhat good shape, but the main idea of the reason behind why I exercise is because it gets your blood flowing and circulating, and you want to make sure that your uterus is having good blood flow throughout this whole process. So I currently have been working out now for about 3 weeks. Pretty intense workouts. So I joined Orange Theory. If you're not familiar, it's high intensity intervals. If you want to know more about it, you can look it up. You probably have one near you. I have loved working out there, but that's besides the point. Getting closer to when we do our frozen embryo transfer, I am going to have to stop doing that because of the high intensity that it is. So you want to make sure that you are exercising, but you don't want to overdo it, especially when you're going through the IVF process. It could actually hurt you. So I will just do more simple things like go on my elliptical maybe for 10 or 15 minutes, or go for a walk outside if it's still nice at that point. Here in Ohio, it might not be. So, or, you know, chasing my 1-year-old around is probably about enough exercise. But me being postpartum at the moment, I did want to make sure that I had lost all of the baby weight and maybe a couple more pounds before I get pregnant again. So basically that's the gist of it. That is what I'm doing currently to try to prepare for IVF. So I'm taking my vitamins, eating as healthy as I possibly can, drinking lots and lots of water, and working out. Now I will say, as it gets closer to, I will definitely be more strict on the things I do. So I will definitely watch my water intake more, and I will definitely try to eat as healthy as possible. If you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you either are going through the process yourself or possibly know someone that is going to go through IVF. So I'm sure you know how expensive it is, and you know that most insurances don't cover it. So I just try to do everything I possibly can to make sure that we have the best chance possible. I want to know that, you know, that I put in as much effort as I possibly could to make sure that this was going to work for me. And these are things that I did in our first IVF cycle, which ended with our little girl. So hopefully this one will be just as successful, and I will keep you guys updated. I will see you in my next video. Bye!